Today, we're diving into this incredible story from antiquity. I mean, it's got everything: a tyrannical empire, a desperate rebellion, and an unlikely hero who nobody saw coming. This isn't just some old story, it's a gripping tale about power, loyalty, and what victory actually means. So that's the big question, right? How does one guy, a herdsman no less, take on and defeat a coalition of five kings? I mean, it sounds completely impossible. This is the ultimate underdog story. So let's get into it and see exactly how this happened.
All right, to really get what's going on, you have to understand the setting. Our story kicks off in the Jordan Valley, which was home to some famously wealthy cities. You've definitely heard of Sodom and Gomorrah, but, well, all that prosperity came with a very heavy price tag.
For 12 long years, these four cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zoar, were basically under the thumb of a foreign power. They had to pay tribute year after year to this powerful eastern king named Chedorlaomer and his allies. But, after 12 years of that, they'd had enough. In the 13th year, the king of Sodom decided to lead a full-on revolt. They refused to pay up. It was a seriously bold move, a declaration of independence, really. But it was a move that was going to trigger a massive, and I mean massive, military response. So this rebellion, as brave as it was about to get crushed. Chedorlaomer wasn't just coming to collect what he was owed. No, he was leading a whole coalition of kings, and they were coming for conquest. And this invasion was just brutally efficient. Before they even got to the Jordan Valley, Chedorlaomer's army just steamrolled through the whole region. They conquered the Rephaims, then the Susams, then the Emims. See, this wasn't just about collecting tribute anymore. This was about sending a message of total domination. So, when the invading army finally showed up, the local kings made a huge mistake, a fatal tactical error. They tried to retreat and ended up getting trapped in these treacherous tar pits that were all over the area. Their armies were completely wiped out. Their entire defense just collapsed. And with the defending armies totally destroyed, the cities were just left wide open for the taking. The invaders swarmed in and took everything, all the goods, all the food, and they captured people to be sold as slaves. It was a complete and total disaster. And this is where the whole story pivots, because among all those captives was a wealthy man named Lot. And Lot, as it happens, was the nephew of a man named Abraham, who was living peacefully over in the plains of Mamre. Suddenly, this huge regional conflict just got very, very personal. So a survivor escapes and manages to get the news to Abraham. And what does Abraham do? He doesn't hesitate for a second. Look, he wasn't a king, he wasn't a general, this wasn't his fight. Until it was. He decides he's going to mount a rescue mission against an army that had just smashed multiple kingdoms. And what kind of force is he bringing to this fight? A massive army? No, just 318 men. And they weren't even professional soldiers. They were his own servants, guys who were born and raised in his own household. It's a tiny, tiny force to go up against a victorious five-king alliance. But, okay, he wasn't completely on his own. Abraham had been smart. He'd made some powerful local allies. 3 Amorite princes, Mamre, Eshcol, and Aner, agreed to join him. They added their armies to his little band of 318, and just like that, the rescue mission was a go. So, the big question is, how in the world do you defeat an army that's way bigger than you and fresh off a huge winning streak? Well, you don't fight them on their terms. Abraham comes up with this absolutely brilliant and daring plan that's all about speed, surprise, and just relentless pursuit. Okay, check out this battle plan. It's genius. First, Abraham tracks the enemy army all the way north to a place called Dan. Then, in a classic military move, he divides his smaller force to hit them from multiple directions at once, under the cover of darkness. The surprise night attack on their sleeping camps throws everything into absolute chaos. As the enemy runs, Abraham's forces chase them down relentlessly, all the way to Haba, near Damascus. And boom, total victory. He rescued everyone, Lot, all the other captives, and all the stolen goods. So Abraham returns, the conquering hero. Everyone is celebrating. But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. The real test, the true test of his character, is about to happen right now, in the aftermath. He's met by 2 very different kings, and his victory on the battlefield is about to be followed by a major challenge to his principles. You can think of this moment as a crossroads for Abraham. On one side, you've got the king of Sodom, who represents worldly power, money, the whole deal. On the other side, you have Melchizedek, who's the king and high priest of Salem, and he represents spiritual authority. One guy makes a business proposition, the other offers a blessing.
Melchizedek doesn't offer Abraham wealth or power. He brings bread and wine, and he gives him this blessing, basically saying that Abram's victory didn't come from his own strength, but from a higher power. And in response, Abraham acknowledges this spiritual authority and pays him a tithe, a tenth of all the spoils of war.
But then comes the other king. The king of Sodom steps up, and he's got an offer on the table that could make Abraham one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in the entire region. This is the moment. This is where Abraham has to make his final, crucial choice.
And the offer is so simple and unbelievably tempting. The king of Sodom says, look, just give me my people back. You can keep all the goods. We're talking about the immense wealth of 4 cities. And by the laws of war, Abraham had every right to take it. But he refuses, just flat out refuses. In this incredibly powerful statement, Abraham says he won't take a thing. Not a thread, not even a shoelace. And why? Because he refuses to let any man ever say, I'm the one who made Abraham rich. He fought this war for his family and for his principles, not for profit. He gives everything back, only asking that his allies get to take their fair share. And that's what we're left with, isn't it? That question. Abraham won the battle. Sure, he defeated 5 kings, but this story seems to be saying that the military victory, that was the easy part. The real victory was won right after, when he chose his principles over all that profit. So it makes you wonder, what's the true measure of any victory? Is it about what you gain, or is it about what you're willing to give up?